Gundam.tk presents high-grade Adele Diva Colors. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs from GundamReviews.net, and here I'm taking a look at a color variation. It's the high-grade 1/144th Adele Star of the second generation. Well, I don't know if you could call it the star, but a very important part of the plot, including Wolf's team here. So anyway, it's time to take a look and see what the differences are between the original Adele and this one. This is an April 2012 release. That sells for 1,200 yen, same as the original. And as we near the end of the second generation, you can see that this is number 19 in the high-grade line from Age from Bandai. Now, the original Adele was number 13 in the high-grade Age series, and it's also come out in advanced grade, and you can check out reviews of all of these on gundam.tk. But the reason why this one is more exciting for me than the regular one, and probably I would have only picked up this one if it had come out first, is just because if you've been watching the second generation, yes, you've got a mature Wolf Eniako leading the team out there after he was the young punks that was sort of the senpai in the first generation to Flit. And here you have his team, and he's going to have Max and he's going to have Alyssa, DK's daughter, and basically they're both going to fly out in their custom Adeles, the difference being that instead of being this sort of turquoise blue or whatever you want to call it, it's going to be this purple. Don't forget that we've also got a Genoese 2, which sadly, the only one that we've had on sale, we've had the AG and the HG, but there is no indication from Bandai that we're going to be getting one in these colors. So right now you can make up 2/3 of the purple part of this set, and of course that's all going to look good with us, and whether he's in the Age 2 normal or in the double bullet, but it's unfortunate that Bandai's only going 2/3 of the way, even though I suppose that you could be buying 2 of these if you want to put the right numbers on for the 1 and 2 for their respective pilots. Taking a look around the box, they are going to have some changes here. First of all, you can see that nice looking A plate there, which is going to have some gray and that purple to go along with the beam sabers, which are not separate. They count as one of the 4 or 3 colors, I suppose. And here it says first and second, yes, for the Diva colors there. And you get to take these numbers and you take them off the sticker sheet and you get to put them on. And that seems to be the biggest difference here besides the color change. Here they're going to talk about the great posing that they've always had for the high grade Age kits. No complaints there so far. The beam sabers, the handles are going to actually look pretty good in purple there. You've got the Age 1 shield here in purple instead of blue, and you are going to be able to put some decals under that clear part there, which is going to get covered up. And remember that you can swap this off for the wear parts, like the Sparrow or the Titus, despite the fact that it's already got a lot of similarities to the Sparrow there. Here they're going to have specific information about the Adeles on board the Diva there, including the number 1 machine, which is going to be piloted by Max Hardaway. And then you're going to have Alyssa Gunhale, or whatever her name is, DK's daughter, who is very famous for her sexual harassment of Asim. Here you can see them fighting in a meteor storm, and yes, it's cool enough that I may actually want to have 2 when they're all put together there as they're fighting the Vegans. And unpainted out of the box, you can still see that the clear mask is not going to stand out as much as it does on the regular colors of the Adele there. But the biggest feature is going to be that number there, the 1 or the 2 in the middle of the chest, which I'd say is looking very sharp. Inside the box we go, where you're going to be getting polycaps there to go along with, yes, just 3 colors there for the A-plate, gray, purple, and beams. You are going to have the CL3, which we've seen on the advanced grade on the high grades, to go along with the white, gray, and there's the all-important decals with the manual in the bottom. Now, I'm not going to be doing a full multi-part review for this kit because it is identical as I take a look at the A plate, the B plate, and the C plate here. Everything's the same except for that color change there from the turquoise to the purple. So basically, don't forget to check out my review of the high-grade Adele to see all the plates and the posability and all those details. But don't forget, I will be back with a comparison so that you can see them all next to each other. Now, something that's really important to note, though, is that already when I put together the Adele the first time, I was a little bit disappointed just to see that you're only going to have 1 unique plate, and outside of this is going to belong to the Age 1 normal, and this is going to belong to the Age 1 normal, which is why there's going to be some wasted pieces, so you're going to have even more, which means if you built the Age 1 normal in its multiple wears, although the limbs aren't going to be redundant when you're putting those together, but building the Age 1 and the Adele and the Diva colors, and conceivably you could do those a couple times. Yes, that's a lot of Age 1 normals that have been put together, even though it is only 2/3 of it, I suppose. Something that's a little cool, though, unexpected, is that you're actually going to be getting unique regular stickers here. Looks like the eye and the face, so that you can put those on. You can have the eyes under the clear part to go along with that gray part there. You do have the camera lens there, and then you're going to have different little black tick marks, which are going to go all over the body. But far more importantly are these marking seals, and these aren't dry transfers and they're not wet transfers. They're just going to be regular ones, so as long as you have a knife, they're already going to be perforated for you there, so that you can just take these and you can choose either the number 1 for the Max or the number 2 for Alyssa. You've also got the EFF marks here that you can put on. It looks like you've got 3 of them. So this ultimately is combined with the purple, and I suppose the different black tick marks, which probably nobody will ever notice, is what this is all about. The manual is going to have cosmetic changes, but I have to mention that this cover art is looking fantastic with the 2 of the machines there, Alyssa there in the front, looking great with their Dodge rifles firing off. Down here you can see they're more again, they're going to show the 2 of them in Diva Colors 1 and 2. They're really pressing that 2 idea, and it may get suckered into buying 2 over the time. However, you've got the pilots here, Max Hardaway and Alyssa, and when you go inside, this is where the color splash page is going to pay off. You've got some great looking poses there. The Adele, as the Age 1 normal could move all over the place. And there he is, Wolf Taicho, is he of the sad fate, sadly, to go along with DK, the father of Alyssa. And then you're going to have there Asuma Asuno, part of the Wolf team, before becoming eventually his own team leader. And there you can see some images of the pilots as they head off into battle. They're also going to show off the G-Bouncer, the weapons there, including the Dodge rifle, the markings, they're telling you to choose one or the other. And a very important, for painters here, very important news, I suppose, is that if you want to take the Genoa's Custom and you want to prime that up, it's going to tell you how to go ahead and make this blue, and it looks like it's Indie Blue 45% to go along with white 40%, and then you're going to go with purple 15%. So if you want to go make your proper wolf team, that's going to be the key. Outside of that, the manual is going to be the same, except for the color page on the 4th page. They are going to bother to replace this and not actually just use the turquoise one. Yes, it's going to be the purple one there, and it seems like the 2 seems to be a little bit more dominant than the 1 in terms of these promotional pictures. So from the unbox, it looks like it's going to be just an absolute color variation, really just the purple for the blue, but it is a little bit of a bonus. They're going to give you a different set of stickers, and that all-important one too, which I've been going on and on about. I wonder which one I'll choose. You'll have to stay tuned for the next part, I suppose, to see which one that's going to happen. Of course, this just begs the question as to the Genoa's 2. You're going to have the Wolf team here, you can have the H2 normal, you can have the H2 double bullet. They're all going to look great to go along with that white mobile suit, and if you had 2 of these in purple, wouldn't it be nice to have the Genoa's 2? However, with that paint guide there, I'm sure you can go ahead and whip up your own, but then again, if they're going to give you the paint guide, or I suppose there wouldn't be another way to get the paint guide, but with that kind of information, you could just go ahead and paint all 3. But I suppose that Alyssa is a more popular character than Odella, so anyway, I suppose that's why we've got it. Then again, 3rd generation, perhaps we will. Anyway, as I've been going on and on, don't forget to stay tuned for the next part where you'll see this all put together and you can see it next to the regular ones, and the Wolf team pull out all sorts of cool poses, hopefully. Anyway, I'd love to hear your comments down below. Is this worth picking up as just a straight color variation? Would you have gotten this one if this one was already out for sale, and how many of you are thinking of buying 2? I'm very curious to hear. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching very much, and stay tuned for the next part, and lots more from GundamReviews.net and Robert184. Thanks for watching. What I took away from that 2nd generation is that if you've got a number on your chest, well, this time, nobody seemed to die.